is going on, Bam Slam fam? Welcome to another edition of the Bam Slam podcast. Ali Rat, Ben Fletcher, Costa with you bright and early on a beautiful Saturday morning. A big Saturday. Yeah, it's early. It's early. But we've got maybe one of the biggest Saturday sports days in San Diego history. You're living under a rock if you don't know that the Aztecs in the Final Four, they take on the 9th seed Florida Atlantic Owls this afternoon, 3:00 something. Ben, what's the official, what time?
3:09.
3:09. If you're not watching it on CBS, of course, you'll be listening to it on San Diego 760. Is it 760 San Diego Sports? Sports 760.
San Diego Sports 760.
Yeah, I knew I had it right.
Also, if you want to watch Bam Slam in different ways, we're up on Twitter right now at Bam Slam Pod. I retweeted it at Fletch Sports. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment, subscribe. We need to up those numbers. And if you want some more Aztecs content after this, I will be live at noon from Home and Away in Old Town. So if you want to come have a drink with a very hungover Ben Fletcher and talk about the Aztecs, I'll be there.
Are you watching the game?
Why is Ben? First off, Allie, good morning. How are you, my love?
Good morning. I'm good. Went to the game last night and saw all the guys pregame in their San Diego State jerseys, Manny and Joe and Xander Bogaerts. That was very, very cool. And then they did a big thing in between innings up on the jumbo board about, is that what it's called? The jumbo board? I don't know why I called it that.
We'll call it jumbo board from now on.
That came out of my mouth. I'm like, that does not sound like what I usually call it. And my voice is a little
rough.
The
jumbo board.
My voice is a little rough.
It's all right.
I'm on my phone and not my computer, so things are, great in the alley world over here. But yeah, I thought all the Aztec love coming from the Padres was so cool, and they also are showing the game on the jumbo board today before the game. So anyone who has a ticket to tonight's game can come early and watch the Aztec game first.
Okay, so order of importance. Ben, why are you so hungover?
My brother's in town, and we went golfing yesterday, and then we went to McGregor's after golfing, which is a good way to say this. Bam Slam Pod is presented by McGregor's, some of our favorite people in the world.
Yes,
just from Snapdragon Stadium, great bar.
Awesome. Yeah, and again, thanks to Ian and everybody at McGregor's. We did our first live taping last Friday after the Aztecs took down Alabama to get to the Final Four.
I kind of want to watch it there today, but I feel like I would have to leave now to get a spot.
I know it was a crazy crowd, and again, the doorman at McGregor said we're normally packed on St. Paddy's Day, but there's more people in here right now than they had for St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, we'll talk a little Padres and their 0-2 start here in a second, but all eyes are on the red and black. It's such a trip. I don't know about you guys, but following on their social media account and stuff, and there's Dutch talking with Jim Nantz on the court, and they're walking to the Houston and onto that. I'll go. I got some pet peeves. I hate the raised court in championship basketball.
Why?
I hate that. I don't know. It just looks different to me. I'm always afraid someone's going to go sliding off or go flying off the court and break a leg. Can't you just put it on the floor?
Yeah.
And again, first world problems. I understand.
Dude, the Aztecs are in the Final Four. You're a lifelong San Diegan who's been here for the heartbreak of everything that's happened in this city. And San Diego State has done it, dude. Like, I'm not saying it's over because it's not, but you've gotten to a Final Four. That's where legacies are made, is getting to Final Fours.
And how
this is so fucking cool.
And that it's Jim Nantz's last Final Four, and that San Diego State is part of that sort of history too, is very cool.
We talked about this briefly, Ben. Did Nantz ever say why he
I'd have to go back and look. I think it was something to do with contracts, but CBS probably looking to get cheaper like everyone else in the world right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows? But it sucks because I think he's still at the top of his game. But like you look, especially around the world of golf, like Sir Nick Faldo stepping away, Jim is going to be there for a while, but who knows when that, like, I think we're going to see a changing of the tides with broadcasters here over the next few years. Like, think about who's going to probably be leaving soon. Al Michaels, the voice of 5 generations. Like, we're coming for a weird time.
Well, and when you look at like ESPN announcing this last week that they're about to lay off 7,000 people around the country in radio and television, it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, well then why did you give Troy Aikman $18 million a year, to call 17 games? And I'm not saying he's not good. I personally like him, but I just think that seems like a lot of money to one guy. When you're going to lay off 7,000 other people. I don't know.
Media is in a weird spot right now, and it's going to go through a really big change here in the next few years, I think. And I think there's going to be a lot more stuff like this, what we're doing, where it's very self-made, and we went out and got our own sponsor. We went out and did everything. We set up this, and this is just so people who enjoy our stuff can still consume our stuff, and we're not asking very much of them. I mean, it's free to watch this. We don't charge anything for our listeners or our viewers, and like the most we ask of you is to come to McGregor's every once in a while and hang out with us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think also too, with this type of platform and what we're doing and all the different ways that, basically anybody who has one of these, that's your TV station, that's your radio station. It's also your production company, it's your camera crew, it's everything. And back to what you said, ESPN sucks.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Their radio programming, their radio shows suck. I can't tell you. And I love Scott Van
Pelt.
Scott Van Pelt. I do. He's like one of the.
He's my fave. I love him.
Yeah, he's like one of the 3 things that I would even tune into ESPN for. But the rest of it is shit. It's boring. It's all cookie cutter. If you listen to some of the stuff in our area, it sucks. I think ESPN is a sinking ship, and obviously, having to lay off 7,000 people nationwide, you'll see why. But what we're doing, and back to what I was going to say, and then we'll get to the Aztecs. We all know what plugola and payola is in radio and television, terrestrial radio, terrestrial television. I guess there's no other type of television, but here, doing what we're doing, you can go to a sponsor and you can say, we're going to talk about you as much as possible. And we're getting paid by you, but we're going to buff you out. We're going to go overboard beyond the pale of making sure our listeners know to go there and patronize you and things like that. And Ben, back to your point, I think that's going to be the big difference.
Well, it's a partnership.
Being able to do that, sponsor. Yeah,
it's you reaching out personally to McGregor's and saying, Ian, you know me, you now know Ben and Allie. Like, let's do business together. Right. We'll scratch your back, you scratch ours. Perfect. And by the way, it's legit because I really do fucking love McGregor's. I'm there all the time. I was there last night.
And you guys, can we talk about real quick? I know we didn't podcast this last week because we were all so busy with Aztecs and Padres opening day and everything. But so we haven't been on together since we were on together at McGregor's when San Diego State beat Alabama. How much fun was that? We had the biggest crowd come out and support us. I was shocked by the amount of people that came. I mean, the place was packed with Aztec fans. I'm not saying they were all there for us, but the group that was there for us was much bigger than I anticipated. And it was so much fun how we all sat around afterwards. And I just thought it was great. And McGregor's is amazing. And except for the guy that wanted to fight me, everything was really great.
Oh, I still want to tweet out that fat fuck's picture. Say, does anybody know this elephant? I think he strayed away from the sanctuary.
That's not nice. No questions. But he was so rude. We don't need to rehash him. But anyway, the whole McGregor's was amazing, and they were so gracious to us considering how packed it was. And then all our friends that came out, thank you, because that made it really fun.
Yeah, someone kept buying tequila shots.
Yes, they did. I didn't have one.
Our great Bam Slam fan member, Peter Salas, and his lovely wife. It was the first time I had the opportunity to meet her. But yeah, he kept on floating over tequila shots. I left there feeling no pain. Thank God my beautiful bride drove.
Oh, that was the other thing. As soon as I got there, because I was scrambling, I was a little late because we did an extended post-game show for the Aztecs, and so I was sprinting back, and I get to McGregor's, and Meg can see that I'm flustered and I'm putting everything together really fast, and Meg just says, "Ben, slow down. What do you want to drink?"
I know she did. She did that. She came back with drinks for both of us. She was so cute. She is just the best. I adore her. I just adore her.
Dude, you hit a home run for someone who could barely hit dribblers. Well done.
You know, speaking of dribblers, that's kind of where I am with our sex life now. So it's a good thing that we've been together as long as we have. All right, let's talk Aztecs. Again, this is the Bam Slam podcast. Thanks to Ian and the family at McGregor's for being our title sponsor. Aztecs this afternoon, 3:09, tip-off in Houston against Florida Atlantic University, the number 9 seed. Aztecs a 2.5-point favorite going into this game. Ben, I'll get your prognostication for thoughts on this game.
I want to do a little thought experiment here with both of you. Okay, you ready? Because I've been asking a lot of people this question over the last few days. If this game were to happen 4 months ago in the preseason and the non-conference schedule, what would you expect to happen and what would be an acceptable result?
I would expect that it would be that we would probably win by a lot, and that would be the acceptable result. I mean, if it was close, fine, but I think that they're not a very big team. I think they're athletic, they're good 3-point shooters. They also have a good defense, but I still think that if you're comparing them side by side, I think that we would blow them out. But they're blowing people. I mean, they're winning. They've only lost 3 games all year. They're a good team.
So here's my thing. I'm thinking if John Schaefer and I were to sit down before the season and talk about San Diego State playing FAU in a non-conference matchup, but it counts towards all the metric, it counts towards the net ranking, KenPom, everything like that, we would be saying the Aztecs better win by 15, or else it's going to be considered a bad loss. Now, it's the tournament. 15-point games are very rare to come by. UConn's run is unprecedented, winning by 20 every single game. I don't think that's going to be the case. However, I do think it's a little more simple when you step back and look at it like that. Like, oh, shit, the Aztecs should be the favorite in a Final Four game. Like, that's outrageous to me because, Allie, you're right. They are a lot smaller. San Diego State outweighs them for sure and is way taller than them. And San Diego State's defense has just bent teams to their will this entire tournament. Like, I think Aztec fans, not that you should feel comfortable ever in the tournament because you see 1 seeds lose to 16 seeds, but you should just feel really good about this draw and understand that the Aztecs are probably going in with the mentality that we should be winning by 15. Now, I don't think it's going to be a 15-point game. It's going to be within 5 points in the last 2 minutes of the game. It's going to be intense, and it's going to be who makes less mistakes.
I think that, like they did with that the big stiff from Creighton, you know, FAU's got that big Ruski. What is he, like 7 or 7'1"? Yeah. But he's just kind of, you know, a statue there in the paint. So I think the Aztecs are more athletic, and obviously the defense is the last couple of games. When you listen to the commentators calling the game, they're like, oh my God, you know, this defense and the way the Aztecs are able to switch off and they don't get caught up. There's that high-low or the pick and roll, but for the most part, they're pretty suffocating out by the arc. I think, to me, that's what the biggest difference is going to be in this game. Although the Owls have incredible guard play, and they've got a couple of guys who have played every single game this year. A lot of points, but man, they make shit happen, and that's what kind of scares me a little bit. But and I'm taking my Aztec fandom out of it. I think the Aztecs overall are a better team. By how much? We'll see this afternoon.
We'll see. In San Diego State, really, I think they can use a very similar formula in this game as they've been using all tournament long, which is make them play at your pace, like ugly the game up, get it dirty. Because FAU, I've watched every single one of their tournament games. They play their asses off, and they work really hard to get out and run, and they work really hard to fasten the game up. And that's not San Diego State style. So if these two teams are going to get in a battle of wills, both these teams are very strong and work really hard. San Diego State is just better at it than FAU, in my opinion. But we'll see today. They shoot a ton of three-pointers, which San Diego State's guard play on defense has been so good at forcing you to take the shot you don't want to take instead of the one you want to get to.
Well, that's the thing. The San Diego State's defense is so stifling. And I think that's one of the reasons they've held all of these teams, Alabama, all of them, especially but they've held them to far fewer points than any of those teams normally score. So, I mean, you would think that would be consistent today too.
Not only far fewer, Allie, but like Charleston and Furman, they held them 20 points under their season average. Both those games were played in the 50s. Both those teams average 80. Alabama averages 80. That was the low 60s for them. Creighton was averaging like 76 points a game, and they were in the 50s. Like San Diego State, that defense is something that we've never really seen in this tournament before, other than when Syracuse would drop back to that dumbass 2-3 zone and just sit on the ball.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Fisher, and we'll talk about Coach Fisher in a second, but, forever the sign in the locker room has been, if you don't play defense, you're not going to be an Aztec.
Yeah.
And so it's like, bring, if you get recruited by Dutch, I think the first thing he looks for is your lunch pail, because it's like, you're going to work at both ends. You're not going to be a head case. You're not going to be a showboater, and you're going to work at both ends of the court. And it's been a magic elixir, because everybody who comes here realizes before they get here, I got to play defense. And he recruits guys that already know how to play defense. How great was it to see the fact Coach Fisher on the court, and maybe I will freely admit it made me cry. They had Mark Fisher courtside too.
Yeah.
And everybody walking onto the court, tapping him on the shoulder, kissing him on the forehead, type of thing. Just so great to see.
And Velasquez, or maybe it was Dutcher, talked about it this week on radio, on Darren's show. And the fact that they have 50 former Aztecs going to Houston this week.
Yeah, huge.
50 former Aztecs for life. Like, all those guys coming out, all those guys get to give their respects to Coach Fisher. They get to say hi to Mark. They get to give Dutch a big bear hug. They hopefully get to see Dutch do another trust fall at the end of this thing. And remember, like, right when I got to McGregor's the other night and we sat down and we started recording, I was like, holy shit, the Aztecs have a pretty good shot to win the national championship. And then they went out and beat Creighton. And now they are literally one game away from a national championship, the first national championship in San Diego sports history. Like, Costa, as an alum, as a San Diego Stater, what does that make you feel?
I'm stunned. And again, I apologize for being so busy this past week, not being able to get to the BAM Slam on Tuesday or Thursday night. Another reason why we're here this morning doing it. I walked into, Meg was getting ready to go out in our bathroom when I walked in, and I was crying. I said, they fucking did it. They made the Final Four. I go back to, there's a great video this week on, it was either Instagram or Twitter, and it was Michael Cage, and he was doing kind of like, the whatever walk it is, it said Aztecs Final Four and stuff like that. Their history obviously is not North Carolina or Dukes, but Ben, you talked about, 50 former players are going to be in Houston to root on the Aztecs. When you go back down that basketball, you're like, oh shit, you went to San Diego State? And again, Tony, our beloved Tony Gwynn, who could have been a pro basketball player, was drafted by the San Diego Clippers to play guard, going all the way back to Tony, and obviously to Michael Cage, who was a number one draft choice of the then Seattle Supersonics. It's pretty impressive. I think obviously Kawhi Leonard would probably be the tip of the Aztec spear as far as greatness in the NBA and what he's been able to do. But again, another, Steve Fisher product, and now Coach Dutcher. And Dutch said something in a press conference. It was either yesterday or the day before, where his dad said, Brian, great coaches don't go to the Final Four of the national championship game just one time. They go back. And so here's Brian Dutcher, was there as an assistant with obviously Coach Fisher a couple of times, and now here he is as the head of the Aztec program, taking his team to their first Final Four, and now has a good shot to win to play in the national championship. You guys know where I live. I could throw a rock and hit Viejas Arena. I can't believe this is happening in our backyard. I'm still walking on sunshine.
If anyone had said preseason that the Final Four that this matchup would be between a Mountain West Conference team and a Conference USA team, would anyone have believed it? Like, no.
No, but it shows that this transfer portal thing, which I've always said is really good for college basketball, is a big deal, and it's able to take some of the best players in the country and get them playing time elsewhere. Like, there's a reason Jaden Ledie's on this team. It's because he wasn't getting playing time at Ohio State or TCU. And that's why he's here, and he's making a huge impact. He's a big reason they're in the Final Four.
Well, and how about Darian Trammell, you guys? Like, that kid has won my heart. I love him. When
Did you see
he did it for grandpa. Oh,
tears flowing down his face as his dad called him while he was holding up the Final Four thing?
Yeah.
God, so cool.
It's so cool. I love that kid. What a story he has. Wow.
Now, what I struggle with is trying to put in perspective, like, what they're doing right now at 8:30 before you play literally one of the biggest basketball games.
Well, if it was me, I'd be pooping.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not pooping right now, actually. Can we talk about where you are, Costa? Because your internet's working, which is new.
Yeah, I'm at the dining room table. We've never had when we have a big party, normally we put all the food on the dining room table. That's where I'm sitting. So the light's good, the internet's good. Truth be told, I'm on my iPad, but when we get together again Tuesday night, I will have my laptop here and see if this is the space where I will I'll do the BAM Slam pod from now on.
Much better.
Thank you. All right, Allison, you were at the predictions. Who's going to win, and what you think? How many points you think the Aztecs will win by? Allison, you go first.
I think Aztecs win by 7.
Ben?
I got it 64-59. Aztecs win.
Okay. The over/under I think is 136.
Hammer.
I'm going to say the Aztecs win by 4, 64-60.
I like it. I think if this game's played in the 60s, Aztecs don't have a problem winning it. If it gets up into the mid-70s, 80s, that's when FAU comes into advantage.
Right. Hey, again, thank you to Ian, everybody at McGregor's. They are our title sponsor of the BAM Slam podcast. And it's right. If you've never been, you got to go, because the people watching, the food, the drink, all the space you have, all the TVs. Again, an experience last Friday night like I've never gone through, watching the Aztecs take down Alabama to get to the Final Four. We did our first live taping there. We'll have another one coming up shortly. Steps away from Snapdragon Stadium for Aztec football, concerts, Legion soccer, Legion rugby, or anything going on at Snapdragon Stadium. They are right there of Snapdragon, easy to get to, plenty of parking. But Ian and the whole family at McGregor's, thank you for coming on board as our title sponsor and being part of the reincarnation of the BAM Slam podcast.
Angel was our server last night, and she put up with us perfectly because we were annoying.
You know what else is amazing about them? As crowded as it was when Aztecs beat Alabama last Friday night, as crowded as it was, I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder in there. The food still came out fast, fresh,
fast.
Plenty of it. It still looked beautiful, as if there were 5 people in the plate. I mean, I've never been there when there's only 5 people, but you know what I'm saying? It was just, the way they kept up with it. That part was really incredible to me.
I absolutely agree.
We've talked about all the good San Diego stuff. Let's talk about the shit.
You know what? Right now, it's why the Padres have brown in their uniform.
Okay, you got 2 games. And I get that they are playing the lowly Rockies that don't look so lowly right now. I I don't know what's going on. It's just not pretty to watch. And
I'm not worried.
I'm not either. But I don't. First of all, Jake Cronenworth, I love that. Signed to a 7-year extension and $80 million. I think it's great because I adore that kid, and he's, I think, a huge piece of that team.
He's been an all-star the last 2 seasons, so when you look at that, you probably got him on the cheap.
Yeah, for sure. I think really where we're lacking, and I've said it since spring training, is pitching. And I know you and Joe are not there right now and are, we'll be back soon. And that will be a big, huge boost, but they need at least one more stud starting pitcher. They just do.
I think you're right. I think that the season that Nick Martinez had last year, and I know it was just one start we saw from him last night, I just don't know that he can replicate what happened last year.
Well, and maybe he really isn't a starter. Maybe that's what we're finding out. Maybe he is a reliever because he was so brilliant in that role last year. Mm-hmm. And now he's going to move back to a starter, which is what he was originally. But maybe he's better at the other role, So.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the offense. That's going to come. Like, I'm not worried about Juan Soto, even though I know Twitter wants to throw him off a cliff.
Even though he can't catch a ball.
He can't catch, but you didn't bring him in for his defense in the first place. We knew that he was a bad defender. Like, that was the first thing we all said. It was like, you're bringing him in because he has the opportunity for an OPS over 1,000 and a batting average near 300 every year.
Well, now he's not earning the $500 million that he wants.
Don't fall into the trap. He's going to be fine.
I know. I think he'll be fine too. I do. He did great in the World Baseball Classic. He did.
The thing that it's not.
Oh God, his internet.
I'm not worried. What?
You're back.
Did screw up? Okay, sorry. I'm not worried. It's only 2 games, but as we have seen with this Padres team, when it has come down to one game, these are the games that you look back to and say, shit. Yeah, they'll get it back around. I have total faith in Bob Melvin to. I don't even think there's a ship to steady right now. They're 0-2, and you're right, Allison. I think it's valid to be concerned that they really didn't do anything as far as their pitching staff is concerned. The thing that I have most concerns about are the fucking hideous City Connect uniforms.
Oh, come on.
What? I thought it looked good last night.
It looks like a unicorn blammed all over them. That's what I'm gonna say.
Right,
okay.
Well,
you're saying unicorn ejaculated on the jerseys. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Right. Don't call it City Connect. Call it unicorn ejaculate. All right. Terrible.
Downtown last night, and I mean, you guys, it was packed. That Gallagher Square, you could not move. But everybody, I would say 30% of the people there are all wearing the City Connect stuff on Fridays.
Costa, it's not for you. That's what you forget. Like, it's not for the old white dude.
People love it. People, I mean, I saw everybody had so many people had the cap on. And then a lot of people had the jerseys on too, or the t-shirts or sweatshirts or whatever. But I would say a solid 30% of the people there probably.
Well, that's 30% of San Diego who are effing idiots. Okay. And you heard it right here.
Boy.
Yeah. Unicorn blam. I'm going to start calling them unicorn blam uniforms, not
Get another Twitter account suspended.
I didn't love them when they came out, but I kind of feel like now it sort of is the flair of kind of the roster that we have. I don't know. I don't hate them. Like I never hated them, but I liked them a little more than I did originally.
You know who I am thrilled with, and the fact that he's a San Diego Padre?
Xander.
Him?
God, well, yes, also Ha-Seong Kim. The chants the first 2 days at Petco Park, the Ha-Seong Kim, it's so cool.
He did 2 doubles last night.
I know, but Xander Bogaerts, I think he is a freaking superstar for this team.
Stud. Complete stud.
He leads the team in hits. So
when you're talking about getting someone who's just going to be steady and consistent and get a couple hits every single game, like that's what you needed on this team last year, is someone to just be consistent offense. And if everyone can get going around him, like they have an opportunity to have 6 of those guys with Cronenworth now under contract. So I'm not worried whatsoever. The pitching thing probably needs to be addressed. I think a lot of that goes away when Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove are both back and in the regular rotation. Mm-hmm. So I said it on Tuesday. Said temper the expectations for the first 20, 25 games because it might get a little ugly, and it's starting ugly.
But the problem with that is, and I say this every year when people are like, it's only March or it's only April. It's like, okay, but do you want to be stressing out in September when we have to win one more game or we have to win these 2 games? Like, I don't. I'd rather win them all now and then let guys rest a little bit and take a day off here and there. I don't know. That's just mean. I don't. Every game matters, or why do they play 162 games? Like, I don't know. That's just me.
Allie, I'm with you. Take care of your business now. Give yourself a little bit of a cushion and don't have to be, chewing your fingernails down to the quick as you get towards the end of the regular season and starting to think back like, oh my God, there's that one game. I think this is a down year, however, for the NL West. I think the Padres are clearly the cream of the crop. So as far as that is concerned,
Dodgers lost.
I think they can have games like this season where maybe in seasons past because of who was on the Dodgers, they couldn't. So that trends upward for the Padres as far as I'm concerned.
We got this comment from our buddy J Pobbs, who also bought tequila shots. Aztecs by 9. I like that prediction.
Love it, J Pobbs.
I would love for today not to be a stressful game. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a stressful game.
Sure.
During the Mountain West, we jumped on here. It was during the Mountain West tournament after the first game that ended up being super freaking close. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, guys, it's March. This is what happens. All these games are going to be close.
Mm-hmm. Totally. It is. And
who do you guys think wins the other one, Miami or UConn?
I got Miami upset.
Really?
Damn, Casa. What just happened?
We have 2 new puppies in the house. They came here the other day, and so everyone, Shirley, and Apple's just a bitch, but Shirley is the one who does all the correcting and helping them to become good little puppies. And so they start violating her space, and she gives them the. So that's what that was.
You guys, I feel really good about this episode of the Bam Slam Pod, but I do have to tell you, I think this is my last episode.
What?
Why?
I got other stuff going on.
Okay.
About.
Well, we love you.
What's the date today?
April
Fools!
Yeah.
Oh, it is April 1st.
Bam Slam Pod for life.
There was a second there. I was like, holy crap. And then I'm starting to think like, what did he tell me in the past? What did he tell me? I knew about this. All right, listen.
Would have got a group text first.
For this special Saturday edition of the Bam Slam podcast. Again, thank you so much to Ian, everybody at McGregor's Bar and Grill, right down there in the heart of Mission Valley, right near the Mission, steps away from Snapdragon Stadium. We love the fact that you are our title sponsor. And I'm sorry, what, honey?
Fish and chips.
Meg's in the kitchen going, fish and chips. And always, last but not least, you brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces for what you do, what you've done for us.
Bam Slam fam, we love you. Go freaking Aztecs. Go to a national championship.
Yeah, go Aztecs. Mwah.
Mwah. Bye, guys.
Mm.
Yeah.